And a good morning to you all, and welcome to the starting lineup. Delighted to have you with us on an absolutely beautiful Thursday in the Ozarks. Ned Reynolds joined by
Scott Purrier.
Art Haynes will be with us a little bit later on, and for the next 2 hours, right here, talking sports and whatever, and I'd like to hear from you at 417-447-1021. Of course, the area code 417, but then 447-1021 is the all-encompassing number, either calling us on the air or texting us. You won your choice, whichever you prefer to do, but we'd like to hear from you. Starting lineup brought to you by Play It Again Sports, Fremont Shopping Center, Battlefield and Fremont Springfield. The big baseball sale going on there. It's really concentrating on bats right now, but it goes on through July the 12th at Play It Again Sports, and a big deal. Well, everything's there for you folks. All sorts of sporting equipment, and the trade-ins, well, you never know what could happen. Swing Right Golf at the south end of Campbell Avenue, just a little bit north of Nixa. That golf swing right down to perfection. Citizens Bank of Rogersville with two routes. That's what they call their branches, routes. One is adjacent to Highland Springs, and the other is in Rogersville itself. And by Marshfield Chevrolet at the I-44 exit, a couple of left turns, and you're driving right into Marshfield Chevrolet. Kind of a stormy morning.
It is kind of weird. I didn't think it was supposed to rain pretty much for the next 6 months, looking at the radar as we hit July here. But
you had some down in Nixa, didn't you?
Yeah, we did. Yeah, I get up at about 4:45 to 5 most mornings and start kind of honing in on details on show prep and everything. And I heard that. I'm like, is that something in the house or what? And I looked outside, and it was coming down pretty good. But one thing about Play It Again, too, Sal came on with us yesterday, and, of course, they have the ice cream social from 11 to 2 on Saturday, courtesy of Highland Dairy. He talked about what they gave, like 500 pieces of ice cream last year or something like that. But he made a good point, and I didn't follow up on about the golf equipment. Play It Again Sports has a huge selection of used golf clubs. If you've priced new equipment anytime recently, I mean, your drivers, brand new, are $500 to $600 or more, and sets of irons are $1,200 to $1,500. Putters are, $100 to $400. You go in there, you can find a bargain because they're taking trade-ins for other trade-ins in a lot of cases, and they'll deal with you, and you'll get it for a fraction of what you'd pay if you went into one of the golf stores.
I don't play the game, as you well know, but I do hang out with guys who do and out at the club, and they've been talking about a new driver that's out there now that's driving the hell out of the
really?
golf bar.
Did you hear a brand or a name?
Yeah, I don't remember what it is, but some kind of new high-powered driver.
And that industry has gone wacko, and I don't blame them because they're making money doing it, but literally you buy, let's say, Callaway or TaylorMade or Ping, one of those models, and it's the latest and greatest with the newest high-tech alloy carbon fiber, blah, 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 blah. And then 6 months later, wait a minute, we've got a better one out now. Yeah. And so what I do, and again, I've been playing since I was in 8, 9, 10 years old, is the best deal is going after the one that they just replaced, because their pricing is that one that was $600 all of a sudden now is $450, because they're trying to get those out of the shops and trying to make room for the new ones. So I don't know how much, and that'd be a good question. We'll have Bill Oakley on next week with the U.S. or British Open preview and ask him and some of our others, Rick Grayson, is there really that much change now from year to year? Because 90% of it's psychological.
There can't be. Yeah. And it's not just golf. In every industry, the newest is always the best by far and all that. I bought not recently, but a car a couple of years ago that was supposed to be the newest. It was the same damn thing that I got into that I just sold.
And Sal made a point yesterday about the bats. He said basically it's a new paint job on a lot of these. Because, you reach a point at some point where you've done all that technology will allow you to do to tweak it and improve it. And I know they have standards that they have to meet for safety reasons and things like that. So golf is kind of the same way. And it's funny to think back now that when I started, we were playing with persimmon-headed woods. And then all of a sudden the metalheads came along. Oh my gosh, look at this! I think TaylorMade may have been the first metal-headed wood that we ever saw. those were so popular, and all of a sudden there's 16 different kinds of alloys in these things and stuff. But anyway,
and Scott, the same thing can be said for tennis because they used to have the stiff wooden rackets and the very stiff webbing inside, and it took a lot of strength to be able to do that. Now you've got an alloy, and you whip those and you see what happens. Look at the serves that they're coming up with now, 135, 140 miles an hour.
What did those used to be 20 years ago, speed on a serve, roughly?
I would say a guy who, Andy Roddick was a tremendous hard server, and he could get up 125, 130. The longest or hardest hitting guy was back apparently in the 1920s, Big Bill Tilden, and he could really rifle it, and maybe as much as 150 miles an hour. But that was very, very rare back then.
It's interesting because we brought this up maybe earlier this week. We were talking about Jacob Mizrowski and throwing 105 miles an hour, and I think I asked what Babe Ruth and guys in that era, and what do we say, the high 70s, low 80s, I think, was the miles per hour?
Probably a mid 80 would be very fast.
Yeah, and guys had trouble catching up to that back then, speed-wise. So
I'm going to give you an example, too. Now, you make comparisons of what the speed is on these. Well, the tennis is 84 feet when they come down with the serves. Baseball is 60 feet 6 inches, and they're throwing 105 miles an hour. Your hand-eye really has to be awful sharp to be able to meet with that.
And softball, they're even closer.
Softball's 47 feet.
Yeah, up on you right there and stuff, too. So got a fun show lined up. We've got going to talk some Bears and Kickapoo baseball at 7:30. Brody Wilson, the outstanding recently graduated pitcher from Jason Hauser's program over there, going to join us, talk about he's, as we talked, I know that Joey Hawkins is counting on Brody being one of those rare freshmen that might be able to come in and help immediately. Seems like most of the time at Missouri State, if you've got a freshman pitcher, they're redshirting or they're kind of easing them in with a midweek or bullpen. But Brody, 6'4", 230, great frame, low 90s fastball. He's a guy that could help them pretty quickly.
Furthermore, I don't think you're redshirting anymore, do you?
Well, you can't. Yeah, no. You get 5. Yeah,
right?
We'll ask him how that affects things too, because all the baseball guys. I mean, look at Curry Sutherland, who should hear his name called sometime this weekend in the MLB draft. Their mindset is, if I go in and do really, really well, I'm there 3 years, and then maybe 4. And so I wonder now. Your guys that don't have a pro future, aren't on the radar, they get 5, and it'll be interesting. And tomorrow we've got a guest that can kind of talk about that and how things are changing from an approach perspective in terms of recruiting with this 5 for 5. Do you go more high school guys to have them 5, or what do you do?
I had read the other day where the pros the MLB is now looking more at college players than they are. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean all 4 years or 5 years is going to turn out to be, but guys who have played a little bit of college baseball, because the level of the game has changed to the point where it is equivalent of what you're going to get lower minors.
Well, that and just think, and a kid who's kind of bucking the trend with that, Wyatt Vincent, doing well as a high school grad from Nixa, now in the Mets system, and trying to climb his way up, and has good numbers. But there's so many things that can happen between 18 and 21. What they say.
Really now?
Yeah, the puberty and just so many variables that I can see now why the draft teams want to go, hey, let's take the 22-year-old that's been through the wars of college. Now, the one thing that's the factor is they've been swinging aluminum bats, through college. Can they adjust to wood? That's why you see so many of them going and playing in the summer in wood bat leagues.
It's also why this kid who is catching for the Springfield Cardinals now, 19 years old, is so remarkable, because physically he is not 19.
No, and he's built like me. I admire him because I thought I was out there at first base when he was playing when I went over there. So Brody Wilson, Kickapoo, Missouri State, 7:30. 8 o'clock, the Ginger Giant, Wyatt Wheeler, going to join us. So Wyatt's been down at the Big 12 Football Media Days. We'll get his thoughts on that, his thoughts on Brett Yormark, just a lot of stuff. The Big 12 signed a huge deal with Monster Drinks, and most of the reaction that I've seen on social media has been that the Big 12 got screwed in terms of the amount of money for what Monster Drink is getting. So we'll get Wyatt's thoughts on that as well.
He also will have some thoughts on Deion Sanders, who was at the press conference but did not allow any questions from the media.
Really?
Which I thought was interesting.
Yeah, and we're biased because we're media members, former media members, and you know, if you're Yormark, that's where you pull him aside and say, "Hey, Dion, you didn't invent press conferences. You didn't invent these kind of events. You need to fall in line," because the other guys are going to go, "Well, why should I do it?"
Exactly.
You know, if he doesn't do it, why should I? So anyway, Wyatt Wheeler at 8:00, and then 8:30, going to have some fun. Clay Harbor, the former Bears standout back around the 2010 years, 2025 to 2010, NFL tight end for multiple teams. He's a Chicago media personality now. Among other things, we'll talk to Clay Harbor just kind of about some NFL and what's going on in his life at 8:30.
And he is, folks, really, really good. He's done a tremendous job. I've seen him on the air, and the guy has really morphed into a terrific spokesman for the NFL.
I don't know where he is on talking about. Remember, he was on The Bachelor back in 2019, and I think he pretty much kicked a girl to the curb at the very end of it. I don't know where Clay is on answer. He's so easygoing. Exactly, yeah. The worst thing you say is, "I'm done with this conversation," you know. But anyway, that's our lineup. We'll tell you tomorrow. Caden Bogenpole, the Bears, probably first 3 rounds draft pick on Saturday, MLB draft. He's going to join us live from his home in Jackson. Wanted to get him as close to the draft as possible to find out if he's heard anything else from the teams. But Caden Bogenpole will be with us tomorrow. So, starting 5, World Cup. It's back, a 1-day hiatus. Felt kind of weird for all the soccer aficionados out there, I'm sure.
I think we're right on this because when it started in late June, I think this is the first day off.
It is, yeah. June 11th, straight through until yesterday, at least one match every day. I've gone back and forth on this. Is soccer a game or a match?
They call it a match.
Do they? Because I've heard it both ways, and I've heard more guys like us call it games and things like that.
No, I think officially in their terms it's match, and it is also, there's no nothing in there. It's nil.
Nil, yeah. No zero, no nothing.
So in this country, nil is NIL. It's the nil that you're getting money for.
We have one match today, France versus Morocco, 3:00 our time on Fox. Should be a dandy. France is kind of the betting favorite. Well, they are the betting favorite going forward here in the final 8 teams. I found a couple things very interesting. That USA-Belgium game that we were talking about, 40 million viewers in the U.S. Guess how many the England-Mexico match at the Azteca had?
Well, it would have had the entire South America watching.
I'm talking about in the U.S.
Oh, in the U.S.?
Yeah.
And what night was that?
That was Sunday.
Sunday.
Maybe?
I think it may have been a Sunday night match. I'll say 31 million.
44 million.
Really?
It actually had more viewers than USA and Belgium. So we were talking about, will USA soccer half fans kind of tune in from here on out? Apparently they will, because if they watch that England and Mexico, more viewers than USA and Belgium, which kind of surprised me there.
Well, in a sense, yes, Scott, but just for a point of conversation, more of the nationalities would be represented in this country.
Yeah, and then Telemundo, that counts in the U.S. as well. And the other thing that I found interesting, and I just saw this, should have seen it a month ago, but the last 6 champions in the World Cup, have there been any repeat champions in there?
I don't think there have.
No, 6 different countries in the last 6.
Argentina's the defending champion.
Yeah, going back from 2022, it's Argentina, France, Germany, Spain, Italy, and Brazil. So I thought that was interesting that there's not a team that, they're going to win it, because it could be one of any, and it could be winning one of these 8.
And there is no Cinderella in that. Those are all reputable world powers.
They are, and we talked a lot earlier in the week about Belgium and the USA jumping into big boy soccer now in the round of 16. But so your pairings this weekend, today, France and Morocco, again a 3:00 match on Fox. Friday, Spain versus Belgium. Saturday, Norway versus England, and Argentina versus Switzerland. And that last one is in Kansas City.
That's the Kansas City one.
Yes, it is. So there's your World Cup update. Cardinals, they grab a 5-1 win over the Brewers last night at Busch Stadium. Michael McGreevy on his 26th birthday. pitched very well and finally got run support.
6 1/3, and I thought McGreevy did pitch well. He handled a very good Milwaukee Brewers lineup, but he also had the advantage of having Alec Burleson, who is really on a tear this year.
He is. He's been an RBI machine, and he's one of those rare guys that being a left-handed hitter, you can still start him against lefties. Mm-hmm. Against Kyle Harrison, he had a big first-inning double yesterday to kind of get the Cardinals going. Interesting stat on the Cardinals. They are now 13-0. They've won their last 13 games when their starting pitcher is pitching on his birthday. Only the Elias Sports Bureau.
I've heard of trivia before. Is that right?
Yeah, Eldon Combs, if you're listening, that ought to be one of your questions tomorrow on your trivia show. How many consecutive starts have the Cardinals won when their pitcher is pitching on his birthday? 13 in a row now for the Cardinals.
Who in heaven's name thought that up?
There's guys getting paid to find this stuff. And now, 5 years from now, that'll be AI saying, we'll tell you that. So, so McGreevy pitches well, didn't need a lot of offense, got the runs early, 2 runs in the first. The Ferminator, I love the nickname for Felix Fermin, hits a home run in the third, and the Cardinals end a 4-game losing streak and a 7-game losing streak to the Brewers. So it's kind of good to get off the losing end of things.
Play again tonight.
Playing again tonight to finish up the series, a 5-game series. Another good young pitcher for Milwaukee throwing tonight, Logan Henderson, just came off the IL. He's part of that Kyle Harrison, Logan Henderson, Jacob Mizorowski that is going to be death for a lot of teams in the National League here going forward. And there's a lot of talk with the trade deadline on August 3rd. Do the Brewers need one more? Do they need to dip into the trade market and get a Skubal or somebody like that?
Do you think they need a pitcher? Because they have an awfully good pitching staff, I think. I think they really need a consistent power hitter. Now, you have Christian Yelich in there, but he's not really a power hitter as such. He's just a good hitter. But there really isn't any other big home run threat in there.
Nah, they've just got good hitters. And they've got mix and match guys that they plug in there. I don't know if you remember Andrew Fisher, that was the Tennessee first baseman. He was basically an antagonist on the field for the Vols. I know the people at Baum Walker were not fans of Andrew Fisher, but he is on that team that Max Gifford is calling at Double-A for the Brewers. And I believe he's got 27 or 28 homers in the minors. He's a third baseman. If you look at their lineup, the one spot that they are glaringly weak at or don't really have an answer is third base. And so I don't know if maybe he's at Double-A now. That'd be a pretty big jump, but you see a lot of those guys skip Triple-A if they're that really high-level prospect. But you're right. I mean, they could probably use a bat, but I think that, when you look at guys like Logan Henderson and Kyle Harrison, you don't really know what they're going to look like in September and October. Mm-hmm. Young arms, kind of new to the whole thing. Maybe they do need to go get, and we'll kind of go through that list. We didn't get to yesterday, but of those top 25 guys most likely to be moved, and see who's in there for that.
Okay, I'm going to hit you with this a little bit of trivia. You came up with a birthday one. Today is the 24th anniversary. Okay, 24th anniversary of what? Do you remember? Now, this is July the 9th. July the 9th, 24 years ago.
What is it?
I'll help you out real quick. It's an all-star game.
Okay.
It's the all-star game that ended in a 7-7 tie.
Interesting.
You remember they ran out of pitchers, and then Bud Selig. We were on the air over at the other place in another life, and stopped the game. 7-7's going to end. And you remember what he instituted after that? Home field advantage for the winning
to make
team.
it matter. Yeah. Logan Henderson and Andre Palante tonight. Cards will finish up the unofficial first half of the season before the All-Star break with the Braves and Drake Baldwin coming to town over the weekend.
Correct.
One other Cardinal note, they did have a call-up. Is it Gastelum? Is that how you pronounce it?
Gastelum, yeah. Gastelum.
Luis Gastelum called up from Memphis. He was a big part of Springfield's playoff run last year to the championship. 24, he gets called up, gets some action yesterday following McGreevy.
Did he give up a hit?
I think he did, yeah. I think the guy that he inherited scored, but he's 24. He was 7-1 with a 2.27 ERA and 36 appearances at Memphis. So a guy that I know Marmal said he really likes him. He played for Team Mexico in the WBC. They sent Hunter Dobbins back down. He was your 27th man allowed for Tuesday's doubleheader. So we'll get to the Royals, Springfield Cardinals, and more right after this break.
We take a break on the starting lineup. Don't go away. Back in a second. Thanks very much for being with us on the starting lineup, and welcome back. Ned Reynolds along with
Scott Purrier.
Fire away.
Again, our guest list, Brody Wilson, coming up here in about 10 minutes. The Kickapoo baseball pitching standout, signed with Missouri State, finished up a great career with the Chiefs. Wyatt Wheeler at 8, and then Clay Harbor at 8:30. More baseball last night. The Royals' Magic Bats went back to Cinderella scrubbing floors last night. They fall 6-2 to the Mets in New York. 1-1 game, good game going, and then 5 runs in the 8th off Alex Lang and the Royals bullpen. Just really an ugly inning, and that was your
I don't think
game.
Mr. 12 for 12 went and got any hits last night at all.
He did not. No, I saw his first couple at bats, and he was also Cinderella back scrubbing floors last night. So, so the Royals and Mets, they finish up today. Michael Wacha and Sean Manaea. Then Kansas City goes to Baltimore for 3 to finish up the pre-All-Star break games.
I think that the Manaea kid is Indiana State, I think.
Is he? Okay. Yeah, he's a guy that's been, 2 or 3 different stops too, and when he's healthy, he's a pretty good pitcher. Christian Scott, a good outing for the Mets last night. Good young arm for them. That's a team that we're talking about, teams that are dealing. I wonder if the Brewers would be interested in taking Freddie Peralta back, because there's speculation that the Mets will trade because they just signed him. And, the Mets let him, or the Brewers let him go.
Let him go, yeah.
And I wonder if there's interest, or if that was one of those, I think we're okay now. We'll just keep.
My thinking when they let him go was the Brewers know something, that maybe this guy's beyond his best years now, so perhaps let him go.
Yeah, I think he's, 29 or 30, so he is kind of at that point where maybe we've got the most out of him we can get, too. So, other baseball notes from the major leagues, Dylan Cease of the Blue Jays takes a no-hitter into the 9th. Good to see a manager letting his guys stay out there and try to finish it. Had a situation where the Pirates, Jarrett Jones, they did not with him as well. And then
Jones is coming off surgery, though.
And young, and Dylan Cease is a veteran. He's done this before. I think they felt like, let's roll with it and see what happens. So, interesting decision I heard being discussed on the way in this morning, that his manager, John Schneider, is the American League manager in the All-Star game next week. And you've got Cam Schlittler, who's pitched very well and would be available, I believe, to be the starter. But he's also got his guy, Dylan Cease, who would fall into that situation, too. So which way does he go there?
Let the negotiations begin.
Don't look now, but the Cubs are heating up and are hot. They've gone 18-6 in their last 24 games. Part of that reason is Pete Crow Armstrong, or PCA as Cubs fans like to call him, is on absolute fire. Homers twice yesterday. He has reached the 2020 mark again this year in homers and steals. He is the first player in the major leagues with at least 20 homers and 20 steals before the All-Star break in consecutive years, since Alfonso Soriano did it with the Yankees back in 2002 and 2003. So, early in the year. So he had a tremendous first half last year, PCA did. And then he kind of became very pedestrian after that. His first month and a half of this season, at least, was very pedestrian. And Cubs fans are like, well, wait a minute, what do we got here? Which guy is it? And then he's been on a tear since then, and that's coinciding with the Cubs playing very well. Justin Verlander announces this will be it for him and retire after the season. He's been added to the AL roster as a Legends pick for the game next Tuesday in Philadelphia. Verlander with 266 career victories. Been having a little hamstring issue, but I think he's back now for the Tigers, or at least he'll be at the All-Star game in body and mind. And
what is he, 41 maybe?
He's old, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and on the last leg of that little journey there, and of course he admits it and says, I'm done, so good for him. Mike Trout homers in his first game back after 3 weeks on the IL, just in time to start the All-Star game next week. That was the 18th homer of the season for Trout, who's had a bit of a resurgence. Mike Trout, Hall of Famer or not a Hall of Famer?
Well, he he would be a Hall of Famer back east. He is from about 25 or 30 miles from my hometown. He's from Bridgeton, New Jersey, and grew up as a Phillies fan. But now, of course, played for the Angels all these years. Played here, played at Hammons Field, or whatever they call it now, Route 66 Stadium, back many years ago when he was with the Arkansas Travelers. Mm-hmm. Do you remember him being here?
I do, yeah. And he's been playing 15 years, so that was a long time
ago. A long
ago.
time ago, yeah. Mm-hmm.
He leads the current active Major League Baseball players with 12 All-Star selections, but this will be his first since 2019. First time he's played in the contest since 2019. He's been hurt a lot, so. But it'll be interesting. He'll be one of those guys, and I think he's a two-time All-Star Game MVP. He's a league MVP. 12 All-Star selections. I would say eventually he's going to be a Hall of Famer. Wouldn't you agree?
I think so. Certainly he's going to be on the list of those who receive very strong consideration. But I think back to the time in the World Baseball Classic, not this most recent one, but the one prior to this, when he's facing his teammate. Yeah. Do you remember that one?
Oh, yeah.
And the teammate struck him out. Of course, who was the teammate?
Tell me again, refresh me.
This is the All-Star game when now with the Los Angeles Dodgers and their big home run hitter was on the hill for the Angels, and they were Angels teammates.
Yeah.
And he struck him out as the final out of the game in the championship game.
Springfield Cardinals, they fall again at Tulsa yesterday. They've lost the first two in this series. Tulsa now takes the second half lead by a game. As I hear Hope, one of the Dodgers' top prospects, 2 homers and 5 ribbies there. Cardinals will finish out this series in Tulsa through Sunday, and then they also take off the All-Star break and then come back to action next Friday.
Now you correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think there is such a thing as an All-Star game in the Texas League.
No, and there used to be.
But they just give it a vacation.
Yeah, they give the guys some time off. I actually went to one in Tulsa when they had the game there. So
we had one of them up here.
Yeah. And so a couple other notes. Scottish Open is underway. We'll check the updates on that here in a little bit. I know Tom Kim at -5. Among the early leaders. The afternoon groups are set to tee off here shortly. And we've got some other stuff we'll jump into, more of a newsy cycle type stuff. But we've got our guests coming up, so let's take our break.
Okay, we'll take a time out here on the starting lineup. Special guests coming up. Please, folks, stay right where you are. And we thank you very much for joining us on the starting lineup, brought to you by Play It Again Sports, by Swing Right Golf, by Marshfield Chevrolet, and by Citizens Bank of Rogersville. Ned Reynolds along with
Scott Purrier.
And Art Haynes will join us a little bit later on. Special guest.
We do have a special guest. He was the standout pitcher for the Kickapoo Chiefs the last few years, and also an outstanding football tight end as well. But more notably, a Missouri State Bear recruit, one of the guys that Joey Hawkins mentioned they'll be taking a long look at for hitting the ground running next year for the Bears and their pitching staff. We welcome in Brody Wilson. Brody, good morning.
Yeah, good morning. Thanks for having me.
You bet. We were talking off air, Major League Baseball draft this weekend, 20 rounds. You went to a combine or a workout type event, correct?
Yeah, it was sort of like a pre-draft workout. I just got in front of some of the scouts and like the area scouts for them, and I basically just threw a bullpen in and showed what I got.
What do you think they're watching in those things? I mean, what do you, and how does that feel for you? Do you feel like all these eyes on me now, I got to throw extra hard, or you just kind of do your thing?
I mean, I just kind of do my thing. I try to relax up there, and I knew that I had the stuff to be there, so I just went out there and tried to do my thing.
Brody, what is your top velocity?
94.
And now tell the folks how tall you are.
I'm 6'4".
There you go.
Yeah, and I think 230. That's what they had listed for football. Yep. Is that what you're at now?
Yeah, around there.
Football. Did you have some opportunities there, or was it always going to be baseball in terms of what you wanted to play in college?
Yeah, so I actually had more offers in football than I did in baseball, like going into my junior year. I had like a couple D2 offers for football. I think it was William Jewell and Missouri Western.
Uh-huh.
I didn't really know I was going to play baseball going into that year, but after I had the year I had, that's whenever I figured it out. But I really did enjoy football. So
this is looking ahead, and you can't really make a decisive comment on this but a couple of weeks from now, you would have been starting football camp in high school. You're going to miss it?
Yeah, I know. That is pretty crazy to think about.
Were you a football guy growing up, and then baseball came along late, or kind of talk about your upbringing in terms of what you were focusing on?
Yeah, so I played both my whole life. And I also played basketball growing up, but I mean, I think baseball was always my thing, and I mean, I was always a bigger dude, so football came easy for me, and I always did good in that, but I wasn't really sure what I was going to play whenever I was older.
Well, I think one of the fun aspects of your life is you're a baseball pitcher. Pitchers, always are careful and mindful of their shoulders and their elbows. And your father, Vic Wilson, is one of the noted sports orthopedic surgeons who focuses on shoulders and elbows. So I'm going to guess if you have any kind of situation, you're not going to seek a second opinion.
Yeah, no, he's just right there, and I can just ask him anytime, so it's pretty nice.
Brody, has your dad had any suggestions on the way you pitch and what you need to do?
I mean, no, I think he's kind of stayed out of it, but I mean, he's always there to give me advice, and he gives me advice on arm care and all that stuff. So,
Well, and he had an outstanding career in his own right. I remember covering him back in the football days. Does he tell you about those days or not?
No, I don't think I believe you on that
one. Well, we'll hear the conversation. Hopefully, we could hear the conversation after this interview to see how that goes and stuff too.
I was really surprised whenever you said that.
Yeah. Well, Brody, talk about when did you kind of figure out that baseball was your thing? I mean, when were you always throwing harder than everybody else? Were you bigger than everybody else from the get-go? Kind of talk about when it clicked in your mind that, hey, I got a chance in this sport to do something special.
Yeah, that was going into the junior year. My velo really increased going into that year. My freshman and sophomore year, I think my sophomore year I topped out at 83, set low 80s, and then that junior year I really took a big jump, and I saw that big increase in velocity, and that's whenever I kind of knew that I was a guy and I was able to compete at the next level. So
when that jump happens, what is it usually attributed to? I mean, just were you getting stronger? Were you doing anything different mechanically or what?
Yeah, that spring I think I decided to play summer ball with the A's, the Athletics. I don't know if you guys have heard of that, but I was getting a lot stronger, and I also was on a throwing program, so I was throwing weighted balls and just doing workouts related to baseball, and I think that's what really helped with the jump in my velo. So
when you look back on your year this year, what particular games stick out for Brody Wilson?
I would honestly say the very last game I pitched was Blue Springs South. I threw a complete game.
Mm-hmm.
The environment there was really cool too. That was the most people I've ever seen at a Kickapoo game, so that was really cool to have. And then I also, I can't remember. Okay, we're just gonna stick with that. Blue Springs South.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Was there a pretty good group of scouts at that one too? Given the
yeah, there's a couple there, I think.
Yeah, and so
I just try to do my best. So
and of course they got you guys twice the next day, right, to end the season.
Yeah,
but you got the win on the Friday night. That was a good team. Didn't they go on to win it? I think.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah.
They did.
Does that any consolation for you guys knowing that and you in particular beat the state champion in a complete game on your field?
Yeah, I mean, it's a team game after all, and we lost the 3-game series, so it was just kind of disappointing. I mean, we didn't really look back on it once they won, but I mean, it was good to get that first game out of the way. I thought we would have had a chance, but
you're going over to college now, and I'm sure you've seen the Bears play. What do you think you can personally add to the team?
Yeah, I mean, I think that I have a shot to play there, and I'm gonna try and compete, and I think that I'll be able to at least make some contribution this next year. So.
Well, and that's what Joey Hawkins said, because if you look at this last team that went to the NCAA tournament and the bats were there, the offense was there all year. Yeah. It was hit or miss on what kind of pitching effort they might get. A lot of guys spend their summer playing in summer leagues, whether it's the Cape or things like that. You're kind of taking the summer off. Is that by design to get ready and have that arm fresh for your college start?
Yeah. So I threw 55 innings this spring, and they decided that I didn't really need to play summer ball. So Right now, I'm just lifting with MSU and trying to get stronger and more explosive so I can throw harder. So.
Many of the kids your age also play other positions. Do you have another position in baseball, or is pitching it?
Well, I'll be a PO in college, but during the spring I was a first baseman and I hit. So.
Can you hit?
I mean, I didn't have too bad a season. I had like 4 home runs and hit just a little under 300. It wasn't terrible, but it's never been really my thing. I knew pitching was.
So, I mean, our buddy Scott Bales, a bat might as well have been a weapon. That was the only thing that he could use it for. So you're a little different than that, it sounds like, as well.
Yeah,
so,
for sure.
What was it about the Bears that attracted you? Did some other schools come along late in the process and try to convince you to take a visit, or who did it come down to, and what did you like about Joey Hawkins and the Missouri State program?
I mean, MSU's always been like a dream school of mine to go to. I grew up watching them, and they're close to home. I actually have a picture of me whenever I was like 6 years old, and I was in the locker room. So, I mean, once they offered me, I was just pretty excited and I was pretty set on it once they offered me.
Have you had occasion yet to meet the new pitching coach?
Yes, I have. We talked briefly about a couple weeks ago.
And your opinion of him is?
I think it's a really good thing for MSU. I mean, I've heard really good things about him, and he seems like he'll be able to develop me into the player who I think I can be. That's
a really good answer in case he hears this too. Yeah, that's probably the right way to go with that, Brody. Yeah. You know, I got to ask you. I know your aunt and the Cubic family, and when you guys get together, I mean, is it pretty competitive with you and the Cubics and everybody if you guys get on a basketball pickup game or anything else, basically?
I mean, the Cubics are always competitive. I mean, not really sure what to say about that. I mean, yeah, they're.
Do you guys go at it pretty good in anything you pick out?
Oh, yeah. I mean, we used to play wiffle ball games, and we go at it for sure.
Are you the king of that whole thing or not?
Not really sure I could take that, but
you can take that title.
Cross is always a good athlete, so
yeah.
Both of us saw the Cubics play in college too, and high school for that matter.
Yeah. Talk about academically. Do you have anything in mind what you want to pursue?
I'm not really for sure yet. I'm just thinking about baseball right now, but I don't really know what I'm going to do yet.
Your dad hasn't talked you into being a pre-med?
He has not. No, leaving that up to me.
What are your thoughts? And were you following the progress of the whole 5 years to play 5 thing? And you'll be one of the first classes coming in that I guess have an option to do that. Do you see yourself being a 5-year college baseball player?
Yeah, I'm not really sure. I haven't really paid much attention to that, but I did see that, and that's really interesting.
Have you pitched at Hammons Field before?
Oh, no, I have not.
Yeah, what do you? I guess it's probably anticipation, but what do you like about the park? Can it be a pitcher's park? I guess it depends on which way the wind blows, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. I mean, it's a beautiful field. I'm really looking forward to pitching on that mound.
And Kickapoo, same direction, doesn't it? The field faces the same way, to where if it's winds coming out of the south or so, it could be a tough day for a pitcher.
Yeah, it could. But I mean, seems like MSU scored a lot of runs here recently, so I mean, it would have been a good year to pitch for them last year.
Now, Brody, they haven't released it yet, but we have been told that the schedule next year will be pretty good. You'll be doing your share of traveling with this team too. I mean, you're going all over the country.
Oh, yeah.
And do you like to travel? Do you like to be on the road?
I mean, I don't mind it, to be honest. I'd rather probably play at home, but I mean, it'll be fun traveling next year.
Oh, it will be.
Very good. Well, Brody, we appreciate your time. Wish you the best of luck, and you never know. 20 rounds of a Major League Baseball draft. If you hear your name called, is it going to give you something to think about?
Yeah, it'll be a tough decision if I do get my name called.
Okay. All right. Well, hey, best of luck to you, and look forward to watching you play with the Bears this coming season.
All right. Thank you. Thanks for having me.
You bet. Thank you.
At Brody Wilson, Springfield, Kickapoo, and Missouri State University. We'll take a timeout on the starting lineup. Be right back. And welcome back to the starting lineup. The lines are open. Area code, of course, is 417-447-1021. 447-1021, both as a text and for phone calls if you wish to visit with us on the air.
Yeah, 6'4", 230 frame for Brody Wilson.
Boy, that's
a big kid.
Big kid.
And that's a kid that, when I looked at and this, no offense to the entire pitching staff, but there were some bodies out there for the Bears that just didn't look like they could hold up, physically. They weren't very big. And this is a kid that you look at him, it takes him out. He'll look like an Arkansas pitcher or, an Oklahoma State pitcher or things like that. Because there's a different body type the higher up you go up the chain.
Of course, he still probably has some maturing to do, even at what he weighs now, 230. But the fact is that the pitchers today are much bigger from what they used to be. Heck, I remember when I was a kid, Bobby Shantz won the Cy Young Award, and he was 5'7".
Yeah.
Now if you're 6'7", you're out there on the average.
Well, and we were talking with. When we had our Ozarks old timers luncheon about John Barrett out of Hillcrest that pitched for Byron Hagler. He was 5'9",
at the most.
Yeah, and probably 160 pounds, but that left arm could bring it. Back then too. So.
I can remember taking or asking the photographer to get behind home plate at a safe distance, of course, and getting some shots of him, and made the remark, this kid's not very big out there at all, but yeah, he could fire. And
he could pitch. There's a difference between throwing hard and pitching sometimes, and that kid knew how to mix things up. He could throw hard, but he also knew what to throw when. I think that was a lot of credit to the guy in the dugout, too, that kind of knows.
I think Mr. Hagler had something to do with
maybe
that.
Knows a little bit. So 8 o'clock, White Wheeler coming up. We'll talk with he's the K-State beat reporter, of course, longtime Springfield News Leader reporter, now with the Topeka paper. I want to talk to Wyatt about the Big 12 Media Days. Was kind of diving into this, and we'll talk to him about this monster drink deal that the Big 12 signed on the dotted line with Monster Drinks, a California company producing those energy beverages. It's a $20 million deal, and it's like $1.2 million per school or league or something like that. And there are a lot of people out there that felt like the Big 12 didn't get enough for that, because it's going to be the Big 12. It's for football and men's basketball, maybe women too, but it's for the naming rights. It'll be the Monster Energy Big 12 football, conference and things like that. And with today, I don't know what the bar is set on those things. I know that Hunter Yurachek down at Arkansas was very careful to reveal details about. Was it Tyson that signed up?
Yes, I think it was Tyson.
Yeah, because they didn't want to set the market, for that. And so, it says Monster was also with NASCAR on the NASCAR Cup, which they committed $20 million a year back in 2017 to 19. I guess my question is, do they sell that many drinks to be able to afford a $20 million? And in the marketing world of things, do you really think you're going to get $20 million worth of attention and somebody's going to go, well, gosh, I need a Monster Energy drink because they sponsor the Big 12?
Keep in mind, Scott, that they have very bright people who are working on certain questions that you have just asked, and evidently they do. Do they change the name of the basketball tournament to the Big 12 Monster?
Yeah. Well, it'd be the Monster Energy drink Big 12 basketball championship.
And that's up in Kansas City.
Yeah. And so a lot of questions there. Of course, this is the world we live in now, where they're all trying to get additional revenue because they got to pay out NIL money and revenue share and things like that. So, but just kind of wonder if Wyatt believes that they got enough. The other thing is talk a little bit. We mentioned this briefly, but the exchange between the Texas Tech, I think he's a fan site reporter for Texas Tech, and Brett Yormark, the Big 12 commissioner, at their opening press conference, and it was a little testy, and the guy basically was insinuating that, hey, the Big 12 makes all these rules that shut down everything, but what about Cincinnati?
Yeah,
why are they? And guess what? Now there's an inquiry into Cincinnati.
And that's exactly right. There is, heard about it recently as yesterday, that they are going to inquire. Cincinnati says they didn't know anything about it.
We didn't know anything about his gambling habit. Yeah.
He leaves Indiana with, $90,000 in bets, and Cincinnati didn't know it? Well, we knew that he may have had some association. Hell, they knew what was going on. They had to. The
Cincinnati coach Scott Satterfield came out yesterday and said that Texas Tech was one of multiple schools that reached out to Sorsby during the 2025 season, which, of course, would violate the NCAA's tampering rules. And so a great way to turn the conversation was when the NCAA's looking into you for well, wait a minute. What about all these schools that tampered with him, trying to switch the topic a little bit?
And unfortunately, these are questions that we were unable because of time to ask Phil Steele when he was in with us the other day. I wanted to ask him a little bit. Have you read your magazine yet?
I've cracked it open.
Well, Phil, Notre Dame's his number one pick, but he rates Ole Miss as having the top offensive team in the country. And I wanted to ask him, would that be the case if Tristan Chambliss was not there? And do you approve of him being there? I just want to know what Phil Steele would have felt about this.
It was also interesting that he wrote his magazine, as he said, based on Sorsby not playing for Texas Tech. And all signs in June looked like that they were going to get enough delays and injunctions and stuff for him to play. So Phil kind of went out on a limb there and said, I'm going to guess he's not there, but
he may have had some inside trader information on this.
From the 133 coaches that talked to him out of the 138. And then you said Dion didn't answer the question.
And nor did he talk to Phil Steele.
Yeah, and we'll ask Wyatt about the weirdness of the Colorado press conference. A couple other things. NBA free agency, still no word on where LeBron lands for his 24 season, but recent signs indicate he may be going back to Cleveland to play for the Cavaliers. And so
Can't believe it.
Yeah, and taking his talents back to Cleveland.
The one that I heard the other day was the Golden State is a lock for him to go to because this will be his final year, and he can sample the wine country and so forth and so on, and leave the good life as a player on the way out.
Which he could do for the next 25 years.
Yeah,
exactly. And so NBA Summer League, I don't know how the structure of this is set up, but the Knicks and the Nuggets both play their first games tomorrow night. And the local angle of that, Keith Pallick III, is part of the Yankees. The Knicks Summer League roster, and then Trevin Brazil, the Parkview Kickapoo and Arkansas product with the Denver Nuggets. So, and those are actually almost all televised. I think the Knicks game versus Brooklyn tomorrow is on Prime Video. The Nuggets and Rockets are on ESPN2. Both of them around that 5:30 range tomorrow.
I hope Keith gets a little bit of a look from some of these players because I'll tell you, he's got a lot of abilities.
And I guess the goal with guys like him is get signed and get put in one of the developmental league teams and see what you can do there. Finally, before we go to break, this is ridiculous. Lawmakers are looking into the treatment of Caitlin Clark in the WNBA. A group of 11 Republican lawmakers, led by U.S. Rep. August Pflugner of Texas, sent a letter to WNBA Commissioner Kathy Engelbert on Wednesday demanding the league take accountability for multiple attacks against Indiana Fever star Caitlin Clark. Do we not have enough going on in our states and in our country to quit worrying about how they're treating Caitlin Clark in the WNBA?
Okay, the opinion is this. I do understand with Congress getting involved in the current status of college sports, but not with individuals. That doesn't belong with them.
And that's why you have a commissioner. You know,
Exactly.
if she would do her job, maybe they wouldn't have to do this as part of it. But I also think that Caitlin Clark brings a little bit of it on herself.
Thank you, sports fans.
Yeah.
She does. And there's no question about it. She, gestures to the crowd and so forth and so on. But there was a picture of a girl allegedly throwing a punch at her. Well, allegedly. It's a still photo. So there's just too much made of this, and it's probably because they don't have enough to write about.
Caitlin has become very good at kind of stirring the pot and then saying, Sophie, hey, go take care of her.
Point the finger,
And Sophie Cunningham is her Maurice Lucas back in the Trailblazer days. So,
Maurice Lucas.
Yeah, let's take our time out, and we'll talk to Wyatt Wheeler at the top of the hour.
Mid-show timeout coming up. Please, folks, stay right where you are.